Hi everyone, it's Amy Keller. This is going to be my blog about leadership skills. One thing that I found interesting at the beginning of chapter 7 was a quote from Steve Jobs in the Grohan Murray and Langan book. And it says, "You cannot mandate productivity, you must provide the best tools to let people become their best." I believe that this is the way that management in healthcare is shifting. I think that you have to inspire the team while quietly supervising and stepping in when necessary. I don't believe that managers need to helicopter over their employees in order to get the results that they're looking for. After the leadership skills questionnaire, I came in above average in the interpersonal and administrative sections. This didn't surprise me. I do act as a charge nurse on my floor. It's not a role that I particularly enjoy, but step in when I have to. I'm much more comfortable mentoring and precepting. I feel like I have a great relationship with all of the new graduate nurses that I have precepted, and I also have a great relationship with the nurses on my floor on both shifts. Sometimes there's kind of a war between day shift and night shift. One shift thinks they do more than the other shift, and back and forth. So I think it's very important to be able to harbor good communication skills between the two shifts so that your patients get better quality of care and you're more happy with your work environment. Moving on, I also think that I'm very organized. I think it's very important to be organized, especially as a new nurse. The more organized you are, I think the better you are at prioritizing and time management. And I think that those are skills that I try to instill in the new nurses that I work with. The organizational structure that my hospital uses is a matrix structure. I think this is important because it's kind of a team working structure, but at the same time, there are policies put in place. Everyone knows who they're reporting to and who their supervisor is. But at the same time, the team as a whole is working with the same list of policies and working towards a common goal. I like it because it's structured, but it's also flexible. Healthcare is always evolving. I kind of see nursing as an independent job. When I go in there, I have a certain patient assignment that I'm assigned to take care of. It's my responsibility to make sure those patients get the best care possible for the 12 hours that I'm there, but I couldn't do it by myself. It takes a team. I rely on lots of other people to make sure that my patients receive that care. I believe that in order to be an effective leader, the most important quality that you need are good communication skills. You need to be approachable while still being authoritative. The boss that I have now is very open. She listens. She knows what's going on in everybody's life, whether it's significant or insignificant. She's always the first one to get people to offer support to people who need it. I also think that planning and organization are important. I mean, you have to make schedules and you have to work with budgets, and those are things that really affect people on a daily basis and affect their job satisfaction by having an environment that they're comfortable coming to work at. Also, I think you have to be a good delegator. As a manager, you can't be there all the time. You have to put the right people in the right place to make sure that the things get done that you need done while you're away. If you can't trust the charge nurses or the shift leaders or the team leaders, I would imagine it would be very hard to go home at night and sleep well because of the worry that would be in the back of your mind about what was going on at work while you were at home. In searching for an article having to do with interdisciplinary care, I found an article from the MedSurg Nursing Journal called "The Critical Role of Nutrition in Improving Quality of Care: An Interdisciplinary Call to the Action to Address Adult Hospital Malnutrition." This article was quite informative. It's very pertinent to my line of work. I work on a GI floor, and I also work with the elderly. So both of these people are very much at risk for malnutrition. The elderly, just because they tend to eat less and are malnourished when they come in, and also the same with people with chronic diseases such as ischemic colitis or Crohn's. Their illnesses make it very hard for them to eat things that provide proper nutrition. So it's definitely a team effort to get nutrition involved to get our patients the nutrition that they need while they're in the hospital. There's an old adage that says it takes a village to raise a child. It's kind of the same way with patients in the hospital. It takes a team to make sure that these patients get all the care that they deserve and that they need. A quote from the article says that successful management of hospital malnutrition requires an interdisciplinary team approach and leadership that fosters open communication among disciplines. And that's on page 163. I think that's very important. When you're working with a team to get a new initiative going on, you have to have open communication. Change is hard. Change is hard for a lot of people, and working in healthcare, you have to be adaptable to that change that's coming. On my floor, they just started a new initiative having to do with the food ordering process. Our cafeteria is a room service cafeteria. The patients and families can call the cafeteria and order the meals as long as they go along with the diet that the doctors have put them on, so that patients get preferences in what they eat, because I think you'll eat more if you're enjoying what you're eating. Sometimes, though, it becomes very time-consuming for nurses and frustrating for patients and families. So starting in the next week, our floor is going to have one dietary personnel who's assigned to our floor. She'll have a phone on our floor, and she'll be there in 8-hour shifts throughout the day. She'll have an iPad, and she'll personally go into everyone's room and help them order their meals for the day, set the times that they want them delivered, and then personally go down to the cafeteria and bring them up and serve the trays to the patients. It's still a pilot program on our floor. We're hoping that it'll take off and that the whole hospital will use this. I think it will be very beneficial for patients and their families. When I think about the team that I work with to provide care, I work night shifts, so I don't get to come into contact with as many people as, say, the day shift does. But routinely, I work with the doctors that are on call. The nurse practitioners are my right hand at night. They're the first person I call when I have a problem. I also work very closely with respiratory therapy, dietary. Biomed brings me all the supplies that I need in order to provide the care to my patients. Laundry, we commonly use security also. We have some unruly patients sometimes, and sometimes we need an extra helping hand. We also use radiology and IT quite frequently. And I imagine that on the day shift, they also work really carefully with physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and the discharge planning. I don't have the opportunity to work with those people closely, but I do see the benefits that they offer. Just on a personal note right now, the manager that I have right now is excellent, and unfortunately, our hospital is, well, maybe fortunately, our hospital is moving towards Epic, which is a new computer systems for our whole hospital. It's going to be a huge transition, and it transitions actually a year from now. And she's been the nurse manager that has been elected to be our representative for the whole hospital with this project. It took up a lot of her time, and so now she's had to, while still acting as our clinical director and the Epic project manager, she's had to give up some of her responsibilities with the day-to-day operations on our floor. They actually pulled a charge nurse from our floor who's been there about 3 years, and she opted to fill in and help handle the day-to-day operations of our floor, which I think is a good thing. It's important to see, to have a good example. I think that our day-to-day operations manager now has been led by our manager, so she knows exactly what she's in for and what to look for and to strive for to be a new manager. I thank you for listening to my time. Thank you.